Hey y'all, welcome to Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. It's Kyle Weston here, local realtor, swim coach, teacher, you name it. I wear a lot of hats. We are in one of my favorite spots here today. This is the Pitt Street Bridge in Mount Pleasant. One of the most beautiful natural spots in the low country, full of visitors every single day. I'm sure you'll be able to see why in just a second. To my right is the city of Charleston, one of America's hot spots for tourism. It's full of history, things to do, amazing food, you name it, we've got it. We're surrounded by some of the low country's finest reeds, waterways, estuaries. You'll see birds flying around, the occasional dolphin, the occasional gator too, so keep your eyes out. Also, that way, straight ahead of me is Sullivan's Island. This Pitt Street Bridge used to be made out of nothing but barrels. So when it was first built, there was nothing here but wood, a couple bit of floating docks, lit the wet water, and nature. Now, we have a bridge here that you can stand on, you can walk on, you can fish. We got a lot of stuff that you can do here, and it's gorgeously landscaped. Also, like I said, this used to be the only way from Mount Pleasant to Sullivan's Island. That was a couple ways on and off. Things have changed a little bit. But again, one of my favorite spots to visit in the low country. There's spots along here where you can stop and read the history of the bridge. You can read about the animals that you can find here. Our oysters, our birds, our gators, our dolphins, our fish. Wildlife here is teeming in the low country. And it is a beautiful day. As always in the low country, we have a lot of these. This is what fall looks like in South Carolina. So if you're thinking about relocating, Mount Pleasant might be the spot for you. Welcome, we made it all the way down to the end of the Pitt Street Bridge. We did a little bit of walking. It's a great spot for exercise. But right behind me on the Charleston Harbor, you can see a little bit in the distance, that is Fort Sumter. That's where the first shots of the American Civil War were fired, here in Charleston, South Carolina, right in the middle of the bay, across from where we are in Mount Pleasant. Not only is this one of the most beautiful places to take a stroll in the low country, it's also chock full of history and great views. We can see Sullivan's Island is going to be straight ahead towards the end of this bridge. If you take a closer look, you can see the remnants of what used to be here. It's just a couple of planks, a little bit of cement left over. Not something that you can walk across to the beach anymore. Can't drive over it anymore. This is purely a tourist attraction now. Plenty of other ways to get yourself to the beach next time you're in the low country. All right, we are pretty much done here at the Pitt Street Bridge. Next place I want to show you is absolutely my favorite spot in Mount Pleasant. It's the local watering hole. If you know it, let me know before I get there. I'll see you in a minute. All right, I told you I was gonna take you to one of my favorite spots in Mount Pleasant, and here we are. This is the beautiful Shem Creek right behind me. I'm standing right in the middle of 9 of our best restaurants here in Mount Pleasant, located on the creek. Also behind me on both sides, you can see that there are boats for rent. You can do commercial, you can do residential, you can do kayaks, paddle boards, you name it. I wouldn't recommend swimming in the creek, but that's something you could try as well. You might see the occasional dolphin down there with you, and the rare, but not totally uncommon, manatee. In addition to that, you'll see pelicans dive bombing for their food. You'll see the big shrimp vessels down at the end of the creek coming in and out with their fresh haul. And on my left, they're rebuilding one of our iconic buildings here on Shem Creek. That's where you get all your fresh seafood from. Also, every one of these restaurants has indoor and outdoor dining, the freshest seafood the low country has to offer, and some of the best times you're gonna find in Mount Pleasant. So we took a little stroll down the boardwalk here at Shem Creek. You can see some of the iconic restaurants and the shrimping vessels behind me. On my right, we have some more of that, again, iconic marsh here in the low country. And my favorite spot to watch the sunset in Charleston is right here, Vickery's Muddies on Shem Creek. You can see a little bit of our battleship, our aircraft carrier, and our bridge, the Arthur Ravenel, which I'm gonna show you in just a little bit at the Waterfront Park. So come with me. All right, welcome to the Mount Pleasant Memorial Waterfront Park. I told you this was our next stop. Behind me, an awesome view of the iconic Ravenel Bridge, as well as what's been under construction for the last couple years. They built a mini version of that bridge right at the base of it. In what was once unusable land, just wasted space, we have built a basketball court, a water park for the kids, an outdoor gym, and a playground, all right here on this space underneath one of our landmarks here in the low country. So come with me and I'll show you what the rest of this place looks like. Okay, so we've talked about a couple of my favorite spots in the low country already. We're still standing in Mount Pleasant Memorial Waterfront Park. Behind me, again, our iconic Ravenel Bridge and another miniature version of that bridge. Can you tell it's one of our favorite landmarks here in Charleston and Mount Pleasant? We're also taking a stroll right through one of the big clearings here in the Mount Pleasant Memorial Waterfront Park, where we have our Blessing of the Fleet Festival every year. It is one of our favorite things here in Mount Pleasant, where all of our shrimping vessels gather in the harbor at the same time, and then there's a blessing so that those vessels can go out and have a successful harvest that year. It's one of my favorite traditions. I'd recommend, if you're here in the springtime, come check it out next April. We're also gonna walk right past the Sweetgrass Basket Makers Pavilion. One of our iconic things here in the Low Country is those sweetgrass baskets weaved by our locals and our visitor center. So if you're coming into town and you're right downtown in Charleston, come on over the bridge real quick, grab a visitor's guide and see what this park is all about. All right, y'all, we have made it to the last stop on our tour of Mount Pleasant today. And as a real estate agent, I gotta say, this might be my favorite stop. We're in Ion right now, unincorporated community here in Mount Pleasant with some of the most beautiful architecture you're gonna find anywhere in the Low Country. It is house after house after house. It gets better and better as we walk through it. We're gonna show you some shots of what these bad boys look like and also some of the unique features of the neighborhood. There's a reason they call Ion the Venice of the Low Country. So we are down in one of the canals here in Ion. They are iconic. This is easily one of the best spots, one of the most Instagrammable spots in all of Mount Pleasant and Charleston. We're walking through it right now, looking at gorgeous houses, being tailed by a herd of turtles that have recognized us as a food source. And we're about to cross through one of the coolest spots that you're gonna see on today's tour. And the next time you find yourself in the Low Country and you have some extra time to kill, you're looking for somewhere nice to take a stroll, make it Ion, stop and get yourself something at the bakery and come stroll this beautiful neighborhood. Not gonna find sites like this anywhere else in the whole state. As your Mount Pleasant real estate agent here, I would have been remiss not to take you to this beautiful neighborhood here in Ion. Wanted to say thank you for coming on my grand tour of Mount Pleasant in the Low Country here of South Carolina. If you are thinking of relocating here or selling your property here in Mount Pleasant, give me a ring. I'm happy to just have a conversation with you. If you ever need anything, you know where to find me. Have a great day.